How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Adrock, and I'm back fighting the Sniffles, because heroes never die. Wait. Wrong intro, wrong game. This time it's a freelancer breakdown featuring Quark. He's tiny, he's lovable, he's obnoxious, and he'll kill you with kindness and a little bit of radiation. Quark is a short to medium range caster support character who's really good at keeping people in a sphere of influence and wreaking havoc inside there. If you want to find out how, stay tuned for the abilities and some random thoughts I have about Quark. Quark's first ability is Gamma Ray, a blast phase no cooldown ability which attaches a bond to an enemy combatant, dealing direct damage and revealing them so long as they are tethered. Every turn they're tethered, they'll continually take damage as long as the bond remains intact. I keep saying that because if the bond breaks, if they get too far away. You'll gain 5 energy for each turn attached. Modifications include Antimatter, which will deal additional damage when the bond is first connected and does not affect quantum collision. Compounding Fusion, energy gain increases each turn to a maximum of 3 turns. Leeching Ray, which will gain you 5 health each turn the tether is attached. And Compounding Radiation, which will increase damage each turn to a maximum. Quark's second ability is Atomic Bond, a prep phase no cooldown ability which will attach a bond to an ally that restores health each turn. The bond will break if the ally goes too far away. You will gain 3 energy per turn if it's attached. Modifications include Evolving Barrier. If your bonded ally takes 40 damage or more in a turn, they'll gain a shield that absorbs damage next turn. Growing Attraction, which will increase the healing amount to maximum. Covalent, which will now let Atomic Bond be targeted through walls. Sharing is Caring, which will gain you 5 health each turn the tether is attached. And Atomic Freedom, which will allow you full movement after using Atomic Bond. Radiate is Quark's third ability. It's a prep phase no cooldown ability which will increase the strength of one of your bonds by a certain amount. You gain 8 energy per target and ally attached. Modifications include Gene Therapy, which will increase health by 2 for each active bond. Rapid Mutation, if an ally is targeted, they'll gain might, but the healing is reduced. Atomic Power, which will hit both bonded enemy and ally. And Rushing Radiate, your movement is no longer reduced after using Radiate. Quantum Collision is Quark's fourth ability. It's a dash phase 6-turn cooldown ability which will dash you to a location adjacent to the enemy or an ally. You will attach a bond to that target when you hit him. You'll also gain 10 energy if you hit your target. Modifications include Orbit, which will increase the landing zone size by 1. Excited, any allies crossed over or hit are given Energized to the turn. Attraction, which will automatically chase the target hit. And Quantum Entanglement, if you dash to an ally, they'll gain a shield for the turn. Quark's ultimate ability is Positronic Surge, a prep phase no cooldown ability, provided you have 100 energy of course. It will unleash a giant blast inside your sphere of energy that will restore health and energize allies until the end of your turn. It does obviously require 100 energy per use, like I just said. Modifications include Power Surge, allies get might for the turn as well. Luminosity, allies will gain 5 health a turn for the next 2 turns. Fusion, you'll gain shield per ally hit. It'll last until the end of your next turn. And Positronic Overload, increases the duration of the energized buff by 1. So as always, after the abilities, I like to go and give you some thoughts that I have while I'm playing these characters, or just watching other characters play them as well. For Quark, everything is inside his sphere of influence, his zone, his whatever you want to call it. I like calling it a zone, it's easier to figure out. I'm used to MMO terms. If Quark is tethered to an enemy and tries to use his invisible blink, tethers will give away his position, so I wouldn't typically... If you try to blink away into some kind of shadow, I don't know if Celeste's smoke bomb will cover it, but everything else pretty much gives it away as long as he's within tethered range. That said, if you can keep tethers going and buffing them, you can put out a surprising amount of damage and heals. So with Quark, because he's all about a sphere of influence and it only lasts, I think it's only a 6 radius range. So about 12 squares in diameter, I believe. It's roughly around there. Learn how to position yourself by body blocking and using corners as much as possible. Because you only have the 6 square radius, all the abilities are mid-range, which means pretty much everybody and anybody can hit you. You're really damn squishy, you like to heal, you're just a walking target. If you do radiate a target who dashes out of your zone, be it enemy or ally, you will lose the radiate attack for that turn. Keep that in mind, because if you feel a dash coming, just use that radiate for the other person you have tethered instead. It's much easier to use it on that, and maybe get it wrong, than to waste a turn on radiate and someone else pops out of your zone. Tethering to a constant stealth character like Nyx or Pup or something like that is really fun to watch, especially if you're the Quark. And it really sucks if they're the Nyx or Pup, because if they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get away, no problem, I'm invisibility, I'm invisible, and no one can, why am I being hit? Oh, it's the tether. They're still being tethered. It's awesome. It shows them no matter what. Quark excels against low damage or double healer comps or comps that are more consistent damage, mostly because his healing and his damage is every turn per turn. On the flip side, burst comps or highly mobile comps are Quark's biggest weakness. He's got to work harder for it, or is completely cancelled out because he can't reach anybody, or they're just putting out damage way too fast. Gamma Ray's mods are kind of 50-50, whether or not you prefer to play a more offensive or defensive style of Quark. Antimatter and compounding radiation will up your damage, with antimatter being really fun to burst with, and quantum collision and with a compounding radiation being great for constant DPS if you think you can keep the tether up. Compounding fusion and leeching ray are great if you're just starting out as a Quark, or feel like you might get picked on a little too much. To be honest though, I don't really know how beneficial they are as a heal. It's very minor when you compare to other Lancer healing mods. Atomic bonds mods are really a pick your poison. Most are around keeping others alive, while sharing is caring, focus on topping yourself off instead. Evolving barrier is great against burst comps, which are his biggest problem, but this actually kind of helps you out on that. Whereas covalent and atomic freedom allow you to keep yourself hidden or constantly on the move respectively, so you don't get hit. Growing attraction can be useful if you plan to duo with somebody or have communication, or you have someone looking out for you so you can get the full benefit of that modification. Radiate is awesome, it's so much fun. None of these things have cooldowns, the first 3 abilities, so you're constantly pumping out something. It's got so much synergy in its mods with Gamma Ray and Atomic Bond by design. It's awesome, it's scary. It's scary how much damage and healing you can do in a turn. Its mods though are okay. Radiate's mods are okay, but their synergy is really what I'm trying to say. They synergize really well. Gene Therapy is a decent default, which encourages good zone play. Rapid Mutation trades heals for might if you think you're going to be a more support or offensive Quark. Atomic Power is just fun, but it costs a lot for 3 mod tokens. And Rushing Radiate is kind of just okay. I like to use Quantum Collision early on in the game, if you need to. That way, you can reposition yourself from early game movements, so you can kind of read what the enemies are doing, and get it back up in time for late game when that one last dash can save a life or secure a kill. It can also just reach that ally or enemy that thinks they may have broken the tether, which is quite awesome when they think they got it safely, and then, bap, I just hit them again for more damage, or, oh, thank God, you stopped doing something stupid, I'm going to save your life now. Orbit's repositioning is fantastic, and it's really, really hard to replace in Pugs. While using Excited with a well-coordinated team can lead to some early havoc being wreaked because of earlier ults, Attraction has its uses. I find it super risky to use Attraction as you never want to be too close to an enemy or an ally as Quark. Most likely, if you're tagging somebody, they're either a high-value target, which puts you right in the crossfire, or they're almost dead because they've done something stupid and you got a quantum collision to them, which means you're also now right in the crossfire. Plus, I'm not a fan of auto-follow. I'd rather just make sure I put on the auto-follow myself. Quantum Entanglement does help against burst comps and can save an ally as you work your science on them. Healing, ooh, yay, fun, radiation. That tumor is a healing tumor. It's fun, I promise. Positronic Surge is great if you can get your team in the zone. Let me repeat that. It's great if you can get your team in the zone. There is no interaction with the enemy team whatsoever, if I can remember that correctly, so it's imperative that you cover as much ground and as much of your team as possible for it to get its full benefit. Power Surge plays into support offensive builds where Luminosity helps tethered allies recoup health faster, which I like. Fusion can help against a burst round or composition, and Positronic Overload can be really cool to support in a different way. Anytime you can energize your team, it gets your team ult back faster, and Quark is all about either healing you, protecting you, or getting you to deal more damage faster. I prefer the healing Quark over the energizing Quark unless I'm with a team that I understand and I can talk to, so I can trade that heal for that. But, your mileage may vary as always. That is it for this edition of Freelancer Breakdown featuring Quark. If you want to leave any suggestions or comments, praise or criticism inside the Reddit, the Twitter, on this video, anywhere you want where you find it, please put it down. I love to see your feedback. I want to make this series better for you guys every time I put a new Freelancer out. Until then, this is Adrock, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.